My first myth today asked if it's true that Bob Dylan's 1966 motorcycle accident actually never happened and that it was some sort of cover-up for him going into detox or something like that. Now, the Dylan motorcycle accident is one of those things that's shrouded in mystery. There's a lot of skepticism about it, and there have been tons of different stories about what really happened then. The accident itself absolutely 100% happened. Nobody ever really argues that. But the story claimed that he was hospitalized, but the reality is no ambulance was actually ever called to the scene. A lot of press releases said that he broke some vertebrae in his neck, and Bob Dylan basically went into seclusion for the next few years. So what actually happened? Well, we heard about it from the man himself when he released his autobiography. And he basically said that things had gotten so crazy that he wanted out of the rat race for a little while. He had a ton of pressure going on from his record label, he was still feeling a bit of backlash from going electric, there was just a lot going on in his life at the time. And honestly, the guy just needed a break. It might be a less interesting story, but that is the truth. There was a motorcycle accident, but it really wasn't that bad. My second myth today basically asked if it's true and exactly why it might be true that band members of the Grateful Dead actually performed under different names like Mickey and the Heartbeats and Bobby Ace and the Cards from the Bottom of the Deck and different things like that over the years. Now this happened as far back as 1968, and Mickey and the Heartbeats is basically the Grateful Dead without Pigpen and Bob Weir. And the other name, it was just a different configuration of the band. Them performing under this name was basically the Grateful Dead trying to be a bit stealthy, and in many cases you'd get that configuration doing an acoustic set before the Dead proper perform. Those acoustic sets are notorious for the band breaking out some of their most rarely played songs. One such performance happened on April 18th of 1970, and it was eventually released in its entirety in 2013. But beyond it being a bit of an inside joke about different configurations, there's really nothing mysterious about this. During that show, the whole band was on stage, so, you know, it's just the band having fun and using a different name from time to time. My last myth asked if it's true that Brownie McGhee eventually went by the name Blind Boy Fuller 2 in an effort by Columbia Records to cash in on the name recognition. Now, this is digging into some classic blues mythology, and I love blues mythology. There's so much of it and there's so much awesome in there. This one though is totally true, and as most people know, Blind Boy Fuller was one of Brownie McGhee's biggest heroes. The former died back in 1941, and that's when OK Records head James Long jumped into action. At the time, Columbia Records actually owned the other label, and they saw a quick way to make a ton of money. And yes, they started billing Brownie McGhee as Blind Boy Fuller number 2. This didn't really catapult him to any real success, but it was an intentional effort to try and get him more publicity. Totally happened. So those are my myths for this week. Be sure to check back here every Friday as I delve into some of the coolest stories in music history. If you've got a myth you want me to check out, email it to me at thedailyguru@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook right here, and I'll see you guys again next time.